Previously on Folding Ideas.
Yay! With performance work that's somewhere between ass fetish and extreme sport, or spending 5 seconds looking for a bootleg copy online.
Police, open the door.
Join me next week as we dig into the actual videos.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, listen up. We have a fugitive that's been on the run for 90 minutes. Pay attention! Get out on your knees! Right now!
And now, the thrilling conclusion.
Close your eyes. You're naked in the Guggenheim high on 3 hits of LSD. The Cremaster cycle plays before you on a 16-inch television. Matthew Barney stands to your left, slightly behind you, masturbating a fake penis made out of hardened petroleum jelly. As the cycle reaches its climax, you huff a balloon of nitrous oxide. Barney screams, and naked choir girls pour honeybees all over you. In that moment, the Cremaster cycle makes sense.
But what if you're not in that situation?
Oh, well, yeah. Then you're screwed.
I'm trapped in a dark room. Alright everyone, get your gonads into their fully differentiated positions. It's Cremaster time! Crap, this is taking too long. Oh, just dealing with the title cards, and already we've run into a problem. So, I just ran those cards by in sequential order, but for no real reason the videos were taped out of order. The actual order was 4, 1, 5, 2, 3. So, the question is, which order should we look at the films in, chronological or sequential? Well, Barney wants us to watch them in sequential order. So screw that, we're watching them in chronological. Cremaster 4. Cremaster 4 is about a tap-dancing faun played by Matthew Barney. It's also about motorbikes. The faun tap dances, the motorbikes drive. Naked women put stuff in his pockets. The motorbikes drive. Testicles leak out of their jackets. The motorbikes drive. The faun tap dances through the floor. Bikes drive. The faun walks around underwater. The bikes turn around. The faun digs underground. Bikes drive. The faun crawls through a tunnel full of Vaseline. Bikes drive. Women have a tea party. Bikes drive. More crawling. More driving. The faun breaks through the road and we get a jump cut right before something interesting happens. The drivers tie ropes to Matthew Barney's scrotum. Credits roll. That takes 42 minutes. Cremaster 1! Cremaster 1 is about a football stadium. Blimps, chorus girls, grapes, and Goodyear, played by Marty Domination. Girls dance, air hostesses look bored, Goodyear picks grapes, terrible CGI makes patterns on the floor, the chorus girls mimic the patterns. Repeat, repeat, repeat. Credits roll. 40 minutes. Cremaster 5! Cremaster 5 is about opera. In Hungarian. A stunt double for Matthew Barney climbs across the arch of the stage. Opera. A man crosses a bridge. Opera. Climbing. Opera. Man jumps. Opera. Climbing. Naked women. Opera. Naked Barney. Opera. Balls, nuts, testicles, junk, coin purse, family jewels. 45 minutes. Cremaster 2! Cremaster 2 is a western about bees. There's a seance. Harry Houdini is arrested by Mounties. The drummer from Slayer plays while bees buzz and the vocalist from Morbid Angel screams into a telephone. Gary Gilmore, played by Barney, plays with Vaseline in a car outside a gas station. He kills the gas station attendant. A computer-animated Mormon Tabernacle choir pretends to sing. Gilmore rides a bull until they both, get tired? Die? The summary says they die. A couple does the Texas two-step around a disco saddle, landscape shots, Houdini escapes, landscape shots, bad dialogue,
See it?
landscape shots, saddle, credits roll, an hour and 20 minutes. Cremaster 3! Cremaster 3 is about Masons building the Chrysler Building. They're some giants, too. Yeah. Destruction Derby in the foyer, filling an elevator with cement. Faffing about in a bar, more Destruction Derby, girl cuts potatoes with her shoes, slapstick comedy, Barney gets his teeth broken. Yay! He gets dentures made out of the smashed car, which causes his anus to prolapse, which then immediately leaks his swallowed teeth. The architect builds 2 giant piles of metal plates, the tower turns into a maypole, Barney climbs around the Guggenheim for 20 minutes while zany stuff happens. Back in the tower, Barney kills the architect and then the tower kills Barney. More giants, credits roll, 3 hours. Done. So, let's go back to the beginning. The things that the Cremaster cycle does right just aren't worth applauding, and so much else is done incredibly wrong. Let's run through it in order. 1. Production values. While the cinematography for number 2 and 3 are the best of the cycle, shot with early HD cameras, it's nothing amazing, and is only about par with what you'd expect from any competently made film. The rest of it is terrible, poorly shot on Betacam. That the visuals are so often praised speaks more about the fans of the cycle than the cycle itself. Their tastes are so isolated to bad video art that they fail to realize the visuals of Cremaster are easily dismissed by Blade Runner, Fight Club, The Fountain, and dozens of other films. It's no What Dreams May Come, and it's sure as hell not The Fall. Does it get pretty at times? Sure, but it never really manages to climb higher than Talented Amateur, and most of it is much worse. Put simply, the production values are subpar by any standard that isn't narrowed down to home movies shot by drunk guys at the bar. The editing is practically non-existent, to the point that it begins to feel like everything they shot made it into the final cut, whether it should have been or not. There is a clear attempt at establishing a narrative where time and space exist, and you're expected to watch the videos from start to finish, but no attempt was made to pace the narrative or tell the story. The abuse of long shots has the ironic side effect of undermining the effort into creating the visuals. When you stare at a gas station for 15 minutes, the initial aesthetics wear off and you have a lot of time to notice that the whole thing just looks cheap. Finally, the sound is horrible. A lot could be said about the bad music and the lack of cohesion between the soundtrack and the emotional content of the videos, but I'll sum it up with this noise that plays for most of Cremaster 3. Also, the on-set dialogue for Cremaster 2 is almost impossible to make out because it was just poorly recorded.
Madam, what exactly is your discipline?
I am queen.
2. Non-meaning. This is the subject matter itself, even taking into account the outside information and how it doesn't actually mean anything. There's 3 reasons. A, it's about gonads. That much is obvious. But the rest of it is horoscope messages, statements and images that are so vague and general that they can be applied to anyone and anything. Struggle? Sure, why not? There's no insight here. It's not about gender identity or what it's like to have gonads or to be a gonad or the struggle of becoming a gonad. It's just about gonads. B, everybody poops. Almost anyone has or had gonads, so there isn't really anything special about pointing that out. Maybe you'll freak out a bunch of squares by making a movie about balls, but everyone else is just going to wonder if you're still 12 years old if you're more fascinated with having balls than using them. C. Boring. It's boring to watch. It's about genitals. It's not a medical documentary, and it's still boring to watch. The definition of penis in the dictionary is more titillating. It's so sterile and sexless for a movie about balls that I'm tempted to consider this an accomplishment. 3. Narrative, control, and marketing. The narrative of the videos is crippled by its own delusions. It's simultaneously too abstract and not abstract enough. This goes back to the problem of one true meaning that we discussed in the previous video. We are shown images that don't make sense, but are then told that they have an explicit meaning. You are expected to know what something stands for, but there's no way to know it without reading the manual. This is Gary Gilmore. He was executed in 1977 for killing 2 men in Utah. This is also Gary Gilmore. This is Hiram Abiff, the architect who constructed the Temple of Solomon. This is the story of the creation of the Isle of Man. I hope you read the manual first. It's all hobbled by one true meaning. Specific meanings are attached but not included, creating a failure of narrative, and all in the name of control. Lady Gaga, as an example, don't worry, this will make sense, I hope. Lady Gaga has effectively weaponized the LGBT community in order to squelch all significant criticism of her work. Anything that attempts to undermine her cutthroat ambition can be dismissed as homophobic as a result of the cudgel that she has made out of the persecuted. It's a game of extremes. In Gagaville, you're either into some kinky fetish leather, or you don't exist. This is relevant to Matthew Barney's work because he has done the same with Cremaster, except instead of the LGBT community being used as a weapon, it is the inner sanctum of understanding. Anyone who points out that Cremaster is vapid, shallow, pointless, or bad is dismissed as not getting it. By weaponizing the discourse surrounding his work, he has attempted to make Cremaster immune to negative criticism. Everything I've said so far can be written off. Foldy doesn't get it. He doesn't see the true meaning of the vaginas that the pigeons are pulled down through, or the proto-balls crawling around the bikes, or the long takes of people looking bored. Well, it's hard to prove a negative, but I do get it. There's nothing there to get. It's not about art because it's not about ideas, emotions, experiences, or communication. At every possible moment, the cycle tries to throw another barrier up between the audience and the message, because in the end, it's all about the Benjamins. There's two approaches to making money with art. The first is to make art that entertains or connects with average people, and then hope that you sell a lot of it at a reasonable price. The second is to make something regardless of quality and convince a couple people to buy it for a lot of money. You can't convince people to pay a lot for something unless you convince them that it and they are special. Like, maybe you make them believe that they're the ones that really get it, and you go out of your way to make the product inaccessible to the average person. Just saying.